This woman photographs a mysterious object outside a plane window. A striking and mysterious photograph has recently surfaced on social media, showing what appears to be a silver, cylinder-shaped UFO captured from a plane window. The image, which was shared across various Facebook groups, has sparked widespread discussions about what the object is, its lack of propulsion system, and why it was seen so close to the plane. Taken by a woman who was photographing the scenic view outside her window, the unidentified object appeared suddenly and was visible for only a few seconds. Had she not been holding her phone at that exact moment, she admitted she would have never noticed it at all. The woman described how the object moved swiftly across her field of vision, prompting her to snap a picture before it disappeared. Unlike conventional aircraft, drones, or balloons, the object displayed a sleek metallic surface and lacked visible wings or propulsion systems. Its cylindrical shape and apparent high speed added to the mystery, leading many online users to speculate about its origins. Some suggested it could be a classified military craft, while others believed it could be evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Debate over the photograph has continued to grow, with skeptics and believers alike offering their interpretations. Some argue that the object may have been an optical illusion or a reflection on the window, while others insist that its distinct shape and presence in the open sky rule out such explanations. UFO enthusiasts have compared it to previous sightings of cylindrical, unidentified flying objects, noting that similar accounts have been reported by pilots and passengers over the years. These types of UFOs, sometimes referred to as tic-tac or cigar-shaped crafts, have been documented in military encounters. Despite the intrigue surrounding the image, the lack of additional footage or eyewitness reports makes it difficult to draw definitive conclusions. No official sources have commented on the sighting, leaving the photograph open to interpretation. The woman who took the image maintains that the object was unlike anything she had ever seen before and insists that it was not an ordinary aircraft. Whether it was an advanced human-made vehicle or something entirely unknown, the image has captivated the internet, adding yet another chapter to the long history of unexplained aerial phenomena. The haunting mystery of the ghostly figure. A chilling photograph has surfaced online, showing a man posing in what appears to be an abandoned building. While the man himself looks ordinary, it is the eerie figure behind him that has captivated and disturbed those who have seen the image. Many believe that the photo captures the apparition of a ghostly presence, resembling a girl with long black hair hovering just above the man's head. The unsettling image has fueled speculation about whether the location is haunted and what unseen forces may have been present at the time the photo was taken. Very little information has been released about the origins of the image, adding to the mystery. No one seems to know who took the photograph, where it was taken, or what the man was doing in the building. However, the ghostly figure's distinct appearance has led many to believe that the image is genuine and not a product of digital manipulation. Paranormal enthusiasts argue that the setting, a seemingly abandoned and decayed structure, is exactly the type of place where spirits are said to linger, trapped between worlds. Theories about the figure range from a lost soul haunting the location to a residual energy imprint left behind by past tragedies. Some believe that the man in the photograph may have unknowingly disturbed something supernatural, while some argue that it could be a trick of the light or an illusion caused by shadows. Regardless of the explanation, the eerie nature of the image has sparked widespread fascination, with many wondering if the camera captured something beyond human understanding. Until more details emerge, the ghostly figure will remain a haunting mystery. The mysterious Martian cave entrance. A mysterious image from Mars has ignited debate and speculation among space enthusiasts and researchers alike. Captured by one of NASA's rovers, the image appears to show a large opening in the side of a Martian cliff, resembling a doorway carved into the rocky surface. The unusual formation has led many to question whether this is a naturally occurring geological structure or something more mysterious, possibly even artificial. The distinct shape and straight edges of the entrance have fueled theories that Mars may hold secrets yet to be uncovered. The online discussion surrounding the image has been divided. Some argue that the doorway-like opening is an example of natural erosion, formed over millions of years by Martian winds and shifting landscapes. Comparisons have been made to ancient Egyptian doorways, with some suggesting that if a similar formation were found on Earth, it would immediately be assumed to be a man-made structure. The resemblance to ancient ruins has only added to the mystery, leaving many to wonder if Mars once hosted intelligent life. A major point of contention is whether NASA should direct its rover to explore the entrance. Since the image was captured by a rover on the Martian surface, some argue that the opening must be close enough for further investigation. They question why NASA has not made any attempt to send the rover inside, considering the public's curiosity and the potential significance of the discovery. If such an opportunity presented itself on Earth, researchers would likely prioritize a closer look, leading to frustration among those who believe NASA may be deliberately avoiding certain areas. Despite the speculation, NASA has yet to release an official explanation for the strange formation. The mystery of the cheerleader image. A mysterious image circulating online has left viewers puzzled. The photograph appears to show a young cheerleader sitting on the ground, looking directly at the camera. At first glance, it seems like a normal image, but a closer look reveals something far more unsettling. Behind the cheerleader, a metal jail cell or mesh structure is visible, and within it, arms appear to be reaching out, tapping on the mesh. The strange image has sparked debate, as no one has been able to determine its origins or authenticity. Despite numerous attempts to trace the source, reverse image searches have turned up nothing. Typically, online images can be linked to a specific website, news story, or historical archive, but this particular photograph remains a mystery. Some have suggested that it might be a digitally altered creation, while others believe it could be an authentic, unexplained phenomenon. The uncertainty surrounding its background only adds to its mystery, leaving viewers wondering whether they are looking at an eerie artistic piece, a staged photograph, or something far more sinister. The cheerleader image, with its disturbing background, is now part of that collection of internet mysteries. Until its origins are discovered, it will continue to spark speculation, drawing in those who are fascinated by the unexplained and the uncanny. Mysterious creatures photographed in Brazil. A Brazilian man captured some odd images of what appear to be mysterious creatures on his camera. The Bahian government imposed a curfew on the area in the middle of 2021, prohibiting people from leaving their homes at night. However, this seemed to only apply to humans, since locals started reporting seeing weird animals out and about throughout the night. They described them as smaller than people, coated in black hair, and possessing a dog-like face. People began to sneak out in the hopes of seeing these monsters as a result of these rumors, and one local was successful in doing just that. Following their capture, the photos were circulated on social media. Some locals weren't so confident and didn't want to venture outside at night for fear of seeing these animals. Reverse image searches yield no results, suggesting that the photos are authentic. Locals have also attested to the veracity of what they observe in the area, and soon after, people began to form links with both these animals and the mysterious night crawlers, which are claimed to be two-legged beings. According to old American myths, these animals have been on Earth for a long time, and they are said to have originated on a planet that was mostly made of swamps, which explains why they have such long legs. Those who have studied these creatures have said that they are able to walk across the swampy marshlands that are found all over the country. However, some have claimed that they only rarely land and spend the majority of their time in and around our waters. They have also noted that they are comparable to other mysterious species that have been spotted close to our oceans, and they claim that this is one of the primary reasons why we don't see them very often. The creatures have been spotted in the California region over the years. The nightcrawler has been characterized as an ethereal, strange-looking creature that has frequently been the subject of a great deal of skepticism. This is because the only proof of an encounter with the creature comes from uncut security footage that shows the strange entity walking through residential backyards and covering large distances. The nightcrawler is also said to be a creature that is simple to manufacture, since it resembles a big white cloth wrapped over a long-legged human moving slowly on film. As a result, several video analysts have examined the tape to see whether or not it has been altered in any manner. Not only did they discover that the footage was authentic, but they also discovered that they could reconstruct the creature's whole course, traversing numerous locations throughout the city until completely vanishing, by utilizing the angle and direction of the cameras. The night crawlers have been seen in the film at heights comparable to those of children, men, and even cats. Despite their varied sizes, they are always seen walking on two long white legs with no arms of any type. This has led some people to conclude that the creature is nothing more than the application of practical effects. In addition, the creature's movements are correlated with the billowing movements of the wind, and the footage is uncut with lights and shadows, indicating that the thing exists in 3 dimensions. Many people have come to believe that the bizarre night crawlers are real, thanks to years of unending footage of them. Occasionally, someone will report seeing the elusive creature, but it has been difficult to get footage of it because they are not expecting to. Utah skinwalker sighting. In 2018, the terrifying image was posted to Reddit under the title Utah Skinwalker Sighting. According to the poster, their friend's ex-husband took the picture, and they said that the father of the ex-husband and him were on a rural property to examine the scene of an alleged incident that had occurred a few weeks prior. They claim that a man brandishing a shotgun approached them and shook his head, telling them not to be by themselves on this section of the land. He gave them a warning shot and motioned for them to go away. Along a dusty driveway, the father and the ex-husband fled as quickly as they could. They illuminated their path with the camera's flash, and as they were doing this, a number of photographs were captured. After telling their friends and relatives about the strange experience for a few weeks, they finally made the decision to see if the camera had captured any images of them running. One of the pictures captured a really unsettling moment. A humanoid figure is visible in the center of the road. Its torso is extremely thick, and it is heavy and brown, and it appears to be plodding across the road with a slight slouch. The individual who posted the photograph thinks it might be proof of the notorious skinwalker, and if this image turns out to be genuine, it will be one of the few in existence that shows the creature. The mythology and folklore of many Native American tribes, especially the Navajo people of the Southwest, have a strong influence on skinwalkers. It is thought that these mysterious entities have the capacity to change into animals at will, usually with malicious intent. The history of skinwalkers is veiled in legend and custom, intricately linked to the Navajo people's spiritual convictions. A skinwalker, according to Navajo folklore, is a person who has attained supernatural abilities through witchcraft and dark magic, frequently by carrying out forbidden deeds. The ability to shapeshift into an animal and take on its physical attributes is supposed to be granted to the skinwalker by donning the skin or hide of that animal. In Navajo culture, the capacity to change into an animal is typically connected to shaman, or healers and medicine men or women who utilize their abilities for the good of their community. The idea of the skinwalker, on the other hand, is a distortion of this spiritual discipline in which people use their abilities for nefarious or self-serving ends, and it's reported that skinwalkers are capable of more than only shape-shifting. When in animal shape, they are claimed to possess increased strength, speed, and agility, making them extremely dangerous opponents. They might display strange traits in human form, like mind control, telepathy, and the capacity to influence the elements. The ability of skinwalkers to mimic human voices and noises is one of the most terrifying characteristics of skinwalker lore. They frequently use this talent to entice victims or instill dread and bewilderment. They are thought to feed on people's inadequacies and vulnerabilities, instilling terror in those they come into contact with. Mysterious object taken down over Brazil. Thousands of individuals in Brazil reported seeing strange lights back in 2020. Videos of these strange lights are beginning to circulate online as more and more individuals record them. Some residents reported seeing lights pulse and dart across the sky, while others described seeing objects resembling orbs that would hover in one spot before suddenly vanishing. There is no doubt that a large number of residents have succeeded in photographing these unusual lights. North of Rio de Janeiro is where the lights have been most seen. Locals have been bringing in their videos, and thus at the time, the Brazilian press began covering the objects. These activities have been taking place in Mage, and the region has even started to trend on social media. However, some claimed that the trend was only taken down after around an hour, and this caused some to suggest that the trend was removed from social media on purpose in order to stop more people asking questions. Remarkably, the situation changed when locals reported that one of the objects encountered difficulties and crashed. There have been reports that the item struck the earth a few days after the original sighting, at which point other lights were reported to be visible. One of the residents, intrigued by what had transpired, made the adventurous decision to search for the fallen craft. They quickly arrived at the location, where they could plainly see a metallic, spherical-looking object. It looked as though it was glowing blue from the inside and was releasing some kind of steam. The video is cut after only about 15 seconds. Some have questioned the object's legitimacy, despite its intriguing and futuristic appearance. As of right now, many have claimed that the alleged object was created by someone to give the impression that the entire event was staged. However, as someone pointed out, how did this thing manage to materialize so quickly? It was also noted that there was extremely high background radiation in the vicinity of the object's discovery, which at the time was unexplainable. Some claimed that this characteristic was shared by UFOs that had landed, and some viewers of the video have said that it's well shot and that the item appears to be much larger thanks to camera techniques. It appears that unusual visitors have occurred in Brazil on occasion. Researchers have spent countless hours trying to determine the truth behind the numerous unidentified flying objects that have been reported from this area throughout the years. While some have called the object a hoax, others have also made the point that you shouldn't let it take your attention away from the real lights that have been photographed. Photographs of the mysterious duende. The duende, a small gnome-like creature steeped in Hispanic folklore, captivates the imagination with its strange presence and whimsical nature. The concept of the duende finds its roots in folklore, where it is believed to have emerged from ancient beliefs and superstitions passed down through generations. Unlike malevolent creatures of other traditions, the creature is often portrayed as mischievous, yet not inherently harmful, known for playing pranks on unsuspecting travelers or local villagers. Stories of encounters with the creature often emphasize its elusive nature and magical abilities, such as shape-shifting or invisibility, adding to its mystical allure. They were held accountable for numerous odd occurrences that occurred in and around homes, and some have concluded that these creatures are tricking you as a result of this. They appear to be rather innocuous in the majority of stories. Some even advise you to give them your first bite of any meal in order to stay on your good side. According to reports from other residents, you can call out to these creatures, and they will come to your aid if you become lost in the woods. This seems to hold true as long as you didn't hurt anyone. The Watchers of the Woods warn the villagers when they go outside to play in the area. The creature was always keeping an eye on them, so they were warned not to get into too much trouble in the woods and not to hurt any animals for fun, and if they saw you misbehaving, they would come to you and drag you into their cave, which is located far into the forest. Strangely enough, photos purporting to depict these mysterious creatures have surfaced in recent years. The photographers claim that these images are challenging to obtain because the majority of the sightings occurred at night, making it impossible for the cameras to catch the images. Nonetheless, the images do seem to depict little, humanoid-like creatures, which is consistent with the creature's general description. Dogman caught on camera at zoo. A user on social media uploaded this strange image to Reddit, where it has already sparked some thought-provoking discussions over what this object might be. Trail cameras have long been used to record unusual critters, and in more recent times, they have allowed us to get insight into some of the animals that inhabit these far-off places. But since this picture was taken right outside of a zoo, several people were left wondering if the creature was maybe stalking the animals there. The uploader claims that a game camera outside of the Texas Zoo took the mysterious picture. When it was first uploaded, it was posted in a private zookeeper Facebook group. The keeper said that they were unable to identify the object after seeing it on a trail camera aimed at a perimeter fence. Those who saw the image said that the camera was aimed at the outer barrier from inside the zoo. Because most of the photos are of wild animals, as you would expect from a trail camera, some speculated that the private zookeeper wasn't seeking attention. Others responded by saying that this lends greater authenticity to the images. After the post was distributed to organizations that study unexplained phenomena, a user commented that it fit the dogman's descriptions. This photograph closely resembles eyewitness descriptions of the dogman creature. Stories about the dogman have been around for a while, however, There are now very few photos available, most of them featuring hazy animals. This one is still a little fuzzy from the trail camera, but you can clearly see that it's a bipedal animal that resembles a wolf. Despite the dogman tail, if you were to look at this picture and not know about it, you may think that it's a werewolf or a wolf standing on its hind legs. It's interesting to note that people of Texas claim that these supposed animals fit the general description of the dogman, a creature that is said to resemble a werewolf and measure between 6 and 7 feet in height. Another account of their contact with the dogman is based on a personal narrative that was published in recent years and revolves around their meeting that took place in the Texas county of El Paso over 50 years ago. In 1968, an 11-year-old boy and his friends went to a local baseball field in El Paso during the summer to play baseball. The field was about 5 blocks away from Richmond Avenue. Someone hit the baseball at an oblique angle as they were playing, and it flew into the trees next to the baseball pitch as the day was becoming late. It was long past dark by now, with the sun completely set. They were afraid to leave the baseball pitch in case someone was waiting outside to act strangely. The lads approached the fence and turned to face the baseball, but as they did, they noticed an odd man standing outside the fence, facing away from the boys. He refused to turn around, ignoring the youngsters as they cried out to him, asking for help finding the ball. Fearing for their safety, one of the lads picked up a nearby boulder and hurled it in the man's direction, hoping to scare him off or make him turn around. The rock slipped silently to one side, and then the man sank to all fours and appeared to change into a big wolf. The boys claimed that the creature was a werewolf and fled from the thing as a result. They sprinted all the way home without stopping, shut the door, and spent the night at a friend's house rather than making the long trek home. The bedside watcher. These video stills from a hospital surveillance camera appear to show a misty human shape, resembling a child, keeping watch over a patient. However, paranormal researchers have said that there are 3 different interpretations of the person in the bed and their purpose in the hospital. Either an individual suffering from a terminal illness, an elderly man close to passing, or a sleep experiment. Some who have seen the image have said that it's consoling to know that someone is with them during their last moments. These 3 still images are from an infrared surveillance and monitoring camera that was installed in a hospital. A mysterious humanoid figure may be seen standing next to a hospital bed in 2 out of the 3 photos. The figure is almost perched on the railings in one of these video stills, gazing down at the patient. It appears as though the other is making touch with the subject's forehead. The first story tells us it was a part of a sleep analysis experiment, but does not provide a location for the hospital or medical center. The man in the bed had been having nightmares about someone trying to enter his bedroom via the walls in order to get to him when he was awake. His fear over going to bed was causing him to be so terrified that his waking life was negatively impacted. The cameras captured the photos while they were being conducted on him to monitor and investigate what was going on in his brain during these waking nightmares. The second story is that an elderly individual who was about to pass away was lying in bed. The picture was taken right before the person passed away, and many suggested that it might have been their own spirit giving their body one final glance before leaving it behind, or that it might have been one of their close relatives helping them cross over to the other side. The third story is that it's a young individual with an illness, and many people think that this picture, which was taken a long time before he passed away, might be that of a guardian angel or a kind spirit that would watch over those who were about to pass on. It's possible that it was something else entirely. Some people even speculate that the entity may be demonic. Mysterious photographs show the Ogopogo. Reports of a massive serpent-like creature swimming in the waters of British Columbia's Lake Okanagan date back to 1872. Numerous residents and visitors have reported seeing the Ogopogo monster in the lake. When Vancouver resident Ed Fletcher captured this dramatic image of Ogopogo in 1976, it became one of the most well-known sightings of the animal. Fletcher saw a massive serpent-like thing slithering over the lake while he and his companions were taking in the view. He snapped a picture using his camera, and it would go on to be one of the most important pieces of evidence suggesting a cryptid might be swimming in Lake Okanagan. There are reports of a sighting near a beach at Okanagan Mission in 1926. About 30 cars worth of witnesses are said to have seen the same thing during this incident. Art Folden allegedly captured footage of the supposed creature in 1968, capturing a big wake traveling across the sea. After a computer examination of the video, it was determined to be a three-dimensional solid creature. A mobile phone video from 2011 showed two shadowy forms in the sea. Since the 19th century, First Nations people claim to have seen the creature and stated that it is most commonly described as a 40 to 50-foot sea serpent. The creature is classified as a many-hump variety of lake monster by British researcher Carl Schuker, who also speculates that it might be a primitive serpentine whale similar to Basilosaurus, which lived 40 million years ago. However, it has also been proposed that the sightings are misidentifications of ordinary animals, such otters, and inanimate objects, like floating logs, given that the physical evidence for the beast is restricted to grainy photos and film. Moreover, it might be a pliosaur, mosasaur, or plesiosaur. According to a legend, the creature's family resides in a cave in the middle of the lake. According to the Kelowna Daily Courier in British Columbia, two experts have decided to examine the remains of a strange animal that was discovered near the Okanagan Lake shore. Several years back, it was reported that a scientist in Alberta would study the body directly, and a researcher in Ontario will receive a tissue sample of the beast for DNA testing. Ghost of a girl captured inside a hospital. Capturing the essence of a ghostly encounter, especially one as poignant and unsettling as the sighting of a little girl in a hospital, evokes a mixture of fascination, curiosity, and perhaps a touch of fear. Such encounters blur the lines between the realms of the living and the departed, prompting questions about existence, spirituality, and the mysteries that linger beyond our understanding. Imagine a hospital ward, where the sterile scent of antiseptic mingles with the hushed murmurs of medical staff and the occasional beep of monitoring equipment. It's an environment charged with emotions, hope, fear, and sometimes sorrow. In this setting, paranormal occurrences may seem out of place, yet they often manifest when least expected, leaving an indelible mark on those who witness them. In this particular account, an individual's encounter with the ghost of a girl unfolded during one of his late-night shifts, a time when the hospital corridors were dimly lit and eerily quiet. The usual hustle and bustle of the day had given way to a palpable stillness, creating an atmosphere ripe for the unexpected. It was during a photograph being taken that the individual in question noticed something unusual near the end of a dimly lit hallway. A faint, almost imperceptible figure stood near a doorway leading to an empty room. At first glance, the person who took the photograph mistook the figure for a child who had wandered away from their parents, perhaps lost and in need of assistance. But as they looked at the image closer, a chill ran down their spine, for the figure appeared translucent, ethereal, and distinctly out of place in the hospital setting. The figure was that of a young girl, no more than 7 or 8 years old, dressed in a simple, outdated dress or hospital gown. As he stood there, not aware of the entity before him, the host was giving off a soft, ambient light emanated from within her, casting a gentle glow on the hallway walls. Despite the surreal nature of the encounter, the individual didn't know it was happening until they reviewed the image. As quickly as she had appeared, the ghostly girl faded from existence, her form dissolving into the ambient light that had surrounded her. In the days that followed, the individual said that they found himself reflecting on the experience with a newfound sense of wonder and reverence. The encounter had left an indelible impression, prompting deeper contemplation of the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. Man captures images of the Pennsylvanian white Bigfoot. In North American woodlands, sightings of the fabled ape-like monster known as the Sasquatch have been reported. Sightings occur all over the continent, with sightings concentrated in the Pacific Northwest. Some particularly strange sightings in Pennsylvania include a white-furred, Bigfoot-like creature that is typically seen in conjunction with UFOs. In 1970, Blakesley, Pennsylvania saw the first sighting of the Pennsylvania white Bigfoot. Witness Annette reported that the animal she saw in 1970 was between 6 and 7 feet tall, with a long neck, a large chest, and a coat of dirty white fur. Annette continued by saying that it has dark, widely separated eyes, and the lower part of its face was hidden by its white hair. The skin around the forehead and eyes was rosy. It appeared as though its hair hung over its forehead like a fringe, and was a little longer on its head. At 9:30 in the evening on September 27, 1973, Two girls were standing outside in Beaver County, Pennsylvania, when an 8-foot-tall creature with red-lit eyes and white fur fled into the neighboring woods. In its hands, the humanoid held a big, bright sphere. With hysterics, the girls fled into their home. Then, after spending more than an hour in the woods looking for the thing, the father of one of the girls went there. In the same year, 2 Bigfoot sightings occur simultaneously in the meadow, and a light orb lands close to Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Approximately simultaneously, a bright object passed over the surrounding forest. The 2008, a YouTube video known as the Pennsylvania White Bigfoot Clip, was recorded in Carbondale, Pennsylvania. The people of Carbondale have been reporting strange sightings of a white Bigfoot for a long time. The first underground mine in the history of the United States was located in the small city of Carbondale. It was once a significant Delaware and Hudson Railroad terminus. Following receipt of an anonymous email, a local Pennsylvania news station reported on the white, possibly albino creature in July 2008. Some sort of animal about 6 to 7 feet tall, covered in all white fur, was the description given by witnesses, and the communication made particular reference to a Carbondale wooded region close to a mine reclamation facility. Strange noises and disturbances in the woods were noticed by the homeowners, and in one instance, an anonymous man saw something moving in his lawn and managed to get some strange film. The man captured a full second of footage, showing a big white creature that looked a lot like a Bigfoot. The monster in the video darts away as soon as the man's camera catches its face. According to reports on the internet, the video clip exhibits a few strange elements. First of all, the animal has extraordinarily huge body proportions that are difficult to replicate. The species has a hooded nose, a cone-shaped skull, and a distinct brow ridge, and the arms are long and the shoulders are very high. The thing moves quickly, and the creature has little ears and a head covered with white fur. Most significantly, the footage reveals the object's distorted face as it flees, raising the possibility that it is not a mask. Frame 17. One of the most discussed mysteries is the Dyatlov Pass incident. It has been discussed at length, and some researchers claim that it has been clarified. On the other hand, investigators who have examined the case have discovered some discrepancies. When the Soviet Union was still concealed behind the Iron Curtain in 1959, preventing any information from efficiently reaching the media or the outside world, an odd episode took place that still arouses interest and terror in people today. Known as the Dyatlov Pass incident, on February 1st and 2nd, 9 ski hikers ventured into the northern Ural Mountains with the goal of conquering the region that the inhabitants feared because of bizarre rumors and superstitions. Through their exploration of the area, these hikers sought to allay any concerns the villagers may have had and open up the area to future hikers who would come to take in the breathtaking scenery. Sadly, this choice would confirm the superstitiousness of the area and result in the passings of the 9 extremely skilled and knowledgeable hikers. The group's tent, which was set up on the slopes, was found abandoned and severely damaged on February 26th by a rescue crew. When it was discovered that the tent was ripped apart from the inside, it appeared confusing. It was as though the group had started to fear something and had torn through the canvas to escape. Following their tracks in the snow, the group's members' bodies were discovered in a nearby ravine. This discovery only added to the mysteries surrounding the group's disappearance, as most of the bodies were found only wearing their pants, as if they had fled into the snow's darkness without changing before they presumably froze. The idea of hypothermia was immediately called into doubt as the investigation went on and the bodies of the deceased were examined. Medical examiners found that every individual had internal injuries, which are frequently observed in automobile crashes or when a person is struck by a tremendous amount of pressure and force. This gave rise to the theory that the victims may have been attacked by a non-human power that was able to inflict such horrific force and cause their passings. Sadly, neither this idea nor any others like it can ever be proven or refuted. According to one of the most intriguing stories, the group met their end at the hands of a Yeti or Bigfoot-like creature that lives in the isolated areas of the Ural Mountains. Legends of a Yeti-like creature known as the Menk exist among the local Mansi tribe. Moreover, it is claimed to prowl the area where the incident occurred. Among the group's possessions was a well-known photo found on Nicolas Thibault Brignol's camera. There is an odd photo on a shot called Frame 17 that appears to depict a person that resembles a Bigfoot-type creature. Some people think that this figure was actually one of the hikers coming back from a higher area of the land, most likely trying to orient themselves. Given that it was the final photo Thibault Brignol took, some individuals would interpret it more literally than others. The mysterious Zolotaryov photos. In addition to the previously mentioned reasons to believe Zolotaryov might not have been who he seemed, he and Brignols were both significantly better dressed than the others. Unlike the others, they all had inner soles of some kind in their shoes. This has prompted the question of whether they were specifically equipped with equipment that the others were not. According to other ideas, the two most likely departed the tent a little earlier than the other 9. Maybe they dressed in whatever they could find and went to relieve themselves. It was intended that they would return within a few minutes, but something occurred that prevented them from going back to the tent. However, Zolotaryov's camera on his body is interesting. He was still wearing the camera around his neck. Perhaps even stranger was the fact that this camera was not the same as the one he had with him the entire trip, which would eventually surface among the wreckage of the damaged tent. For whatever reason, the 11 images he took were mysterious and a little unsettling. They display odd flashes, unusual manifestations, and possibly most intriguing, glowing orbs. These mysterious photos were shared on social media, claiming they are proof of La Llorona. Social media users have described the footage of the ghost as the scariest thing they have ever seen, as it appears to be waving loudly from the treetop. Above the tree, a woman's ghostly figure moves. Terrified locals claimed that the ghost materialized in the middle of the day in a treetop in the Colombian community of Monitos, Córdoba. Along the banks of the river, under the dark canopy of trees, there wanders a woman in white. She cries out for her children, and some say, "If you bear witness to the whales, you are surely marked." Her name is Maria. Maria came from a small rural town in Mexico, and although her family was poor, her beauty drew men from all over. This included a wealthy rancher who, when traveling through Maria's town, immediately spotted her and knew he must have her. The man easily won her over, showering her with gifts and attention that she had never had. At first, the marriage seemed strong. Maria and the rancher seemed happy and went on to have 2 sons. It was not long after this, however, that things in her marriage started to change. The rancher continued to travel. Some say he enjoyed a life of alcohol and beautiful women. Others say he went back to his ranch. There were times where he would leave Maria and their boys for months at a time, and when he did return, his attention was only for the boys. Resentment began to well up inside of Maria, both for her marriage and her boys. One night, as Maria and her boys walked along the path near the river, it is said she spotted her husband in a carriage with a younger, wealthier woman. He stopped the carriage to have a few words with the boys, ignoring Maria completely, before continuing down the road, and it was then Maria finally broke. In a blind rage, she grabbed her 2 boys and threw them into the river. When she came to her senses and realized what she had done, it was far too late. She searched for them, but to no avail, for they had already been carried downstream. She ran along the banks of the rivers, crying out for her boys, knowing all was lost, as her boys were gone and there was no reason for her husband to return now. Maria then threw herself in the river. The people of Maria's village found her the next morning and buried her in a long white funeral gown. On that very night, La Llorona's sorrowful wails began. Down by the river, people began to see a woman in a long white dress, calling out for her children. People believe that she was denied entrance to heaven without her boys, and now she is destined to walk the riverbanks in search of them forever. The mysterious vanishing of Katherine Hamondre. Along with 6 other hikers, Katherine Hamondre, aged 68, and her devoted dog Tootsie set off on a trip through the stunning scenery of Cañón del Diablo, often known as Devil's Canyon, on April 11, 2019. The canyon is located in Baja California, Mexico's Sierra de San Pedro Martir National Park, close to San Felipe. Kat, suffering from a recent foot injury, chose to take a break by a swimming pool as the others carried on. When they got back, she was gone. Frantic searching covered every square inch of the rough terrain, but they were unable to locate Kat or her dog's paw prints. All that was left was an unfathomable emptiness where she had disappeared. In the intense heat, how did a woman with 3 broken toes and her devoted dog vanish from sight? Every question was more menacing than the last as they lingered in the stifling canyon air. The Devil's Canyon's eerie quietness appeared to mock the searchers, with its winding paths and deep ravines keeping the truth of what had happened to this woman a secret. The area seemed to have engulfed her completely, leaving behind just the sound of her final footsteps, the discussions she had been having with the trekking group, and the icy, unwavering stare of the desert sun. The answer to the frightening riddle of what happened at the canyon is hidden deep in the depths of the Sierra de San Pedro Martir, and the mystery beckons with an eerie stillness. Although Kat Hamondre spent almost 20 years living in Mexico, she was born in Seattle, Washington. Kat's daughter, Desiree Blair, characterized her mother as a tough individual who was an experienced hiker and local knowledge, despite the fact that Kat had chemotherapy for liver cancer in 2018 and that the treatments had left her frail. Her husband, Warren Sundquist, and she had been married for a year on the day she vanished. A few days prior to the climb, Desiree claims she got into an argument with Warren that led to their breakup. Kat was furious and transferred her possessions back to her townhouse. She didn't want things to end the way they had, so they talked on the phone for the next day or two and made the decision to be back together. The reasons for the split were a little strange. Kat had fallen asleep at a neighbor's house. She hadn't left a message to let Warren know where she was. Warren told her to move out for unclear reasons after feeling insulted and irritated. Desiree questioned this and said that she believes there was more to the story, and questioned why her mum left and went to the neighbors in the first place. One of the 2 trucks was not operating well, so when Kat and Warren arrived at the canyon, Warren and Dave, the spouse of another hiker named Nicole, made the decision to stay behind with the cars. Kat and her dog Tootsie headed for the first set of pools on the trail, with the intention of reaching the waterfall at the top. Given that Kat was hiking alone and that the day was supposed to be their anniversary, there was some tension between her and Warren. It would have been expected that Kat and Warren would spend their special day together after splitting up and getting back together, but Warren insisted on staying in the Jeep for reasons that were unclear. About 10 minutes into the walk near one of the area's stunning pools of water, she informed the 6 other people in her company that she needed to take a break. The cause of her poor gait was a past foot injury. One of San Felipe's lesser-known tourist destinations could be the Devil's Canyon, and this is hardly shocking considering that there is no cell phone service and the terrain is difficult for cars to access. Picacho del Diablo, the highest peak in Baja at over 10,000 feet, is the base of the breathtaking canyon. However, there is some risk in the area. Travelers should exercise caution due to extreme heat and other issues. Because of the high rate of crime in Baja California, the United States recommends Americans to exercise extreme caution when visiting the state. A Washington Post story claims that there are currently over 500 Americans missing in Mexico. Kat wrote in a blog post on April 5, 2019, that she broke 2 toes on her right foot and then said that a man pulling an ice chest full of beer rolled over her left foot. She promised the other hikers that she would wait for them when they got back from the quick, around 90-minute climb to the waterfall. To let her dog, Tootsie, to frolic in the water and cool off, she sat down at the pool's edge. After Kat interacted with a hiker named Nicole, the party carried on towards the waterfall. Kat would not be seen again after this interaction. The fact that Kat chose to remain behind by herself didn't seem to bother the group. However, it raises the question of why they would abandon Kat there. Never split up with someone in the desert, be it in Mexico or any other desert locale. About 90 minutes later, when the group made their way back, Kat and her dog were nowhere to be seen, and they reasoned that she had to have gone back to her husband Warren Sundquist, who was waiting at the trailhead in a Jeep. Warren hadn't seen her, and when he returned to the parking lot to be sure, she wasn't there either. According to reports, Kat wasn't experiencing any severe physical discomfort from the 90-degree heat, and her prior history of cancer and foot injuries meant that she was in bad health and could not have ventured far from her last known whereabouts. Local search and rescue teams, as well as Mexican military helicopters, scanned the area starting on April 12th after the hikers reported Kat missing. Regretfully, no trace of Kat was located. There were 5 search and rescue dogs, volunteers, Mexicali civil protection officers, the army, the fire department, and the Red Cross involved. It was a very windy day when the cadaver dogs were brought to the canyon and its environs, and they were unable to detect Kat's scent. 34 kilometers northwest of San Felipe, Mexican law enforcement officers conducted a search and destroyed 2 marijuana plants. Though they were questioned, it's not clear if the authorities think the trekking group had anything to do with her disappearance. Just 4 days after Kat disappeared, on Monday, April 15, 2019, State Civil Protection Chief Antonio Rosquillas declared the search was being cancelled. At that moment, the State Attorney General's office was given jurisdiction over the matter. State Civil Protection Chief Antonio Rosquillas said that they put the search on hold. They covered and searched a 5-kilometer radius around the location where she was last seen, but they were unable to locate her. Warren, Kat's spouse, remained at the trailhead parking lot the night she vanished, while the others proceeded to town to alert the Red Cross and other organizations that someone was missing in the canyon. Warren was a little older than Kat, so perhaps he had fallen asleep in his Jeep that night after drinking all day. However, it was odd that he wasn't actively participating in the hunt right away following the disappearance. The search had already been called off when Desiree, Kat's daughter, arrived in San Felipe to help, and after Warren and his team returned from their investigation, he showed her an image of a stick cross he had constructed to erect at the trail as a monument. She was troubled that after only a little absence, her husband was already declaring her deceased. However, Warren did participate in the unauthorized search after the authorities cancelled it. He went in search of Kat multiple times with a group of friends and volunteers. Warren checked a nearby cow ranch and the region between the ranch and the canyon, which seemed too far for Kat to cross, and informed the ranchers that his dog and wife had vanished. Sadly, they claimed not to have seen her or her dog. Additionally, the party traveled to a spot close to the marijuana field and made an effort to talk to a few aloof and impolite Haitian men. They objected to being questioned and did not want to respond to any inquiries. It appeared highly dubious. However, the police had been there and had looked through the property in vain. Kevin, one of the other hikers, dispatched his drone, which had a short battery life, up and around the region to check for Kat's presence. It was difficult to see much in many places since the undergrowth and plant life were more mature than usual, due to the mountains having received a bit more rain that season. It would be hard to see Kat if she'd taken cover or curled up under a bush. Her clothes were not appropriate for the desert, which didn't help. She was wearing her K-Swiss tennis shoes, khaki-coloured shorts, and a whitish tank top. Her hair has lately been dyed ruby red as a result of her support for breast cancer charities. Still, despite her red hair, the drone discovered nothing. Desiree stayed in contact with Warren after she had to leave San Felipe in order to return to her children. Warren would follow up with the Baja California State Attorney General to inquire about any developments, but none were provided. After a fortnight or two, Warren ceased to inquire. They assured him that they would notify him if anything came up. After the search was cancelled and the matter was given to the State Attorney General's office, it was essentially forgotten about at that point until family members continued to bug them about it. It didn't help that detectives were only assigned to cases for a few months before switching to other ones. The primary English-speaking contact was contacted, but they never received a response. Family members were not proactively approached. Desiree said that during this ordeal, she felt like she was alone and wanted so much more, but was unable to accomplish anything because of how far away she lived. After she put the posters up around the city, nothing came of it. She also encountered an attempt at extortion where she received texts claiming that someone was holding her mother and asking for money to bring her back. The shock of realizing who was contacting her falsehoods, followed by the first surge of optimism that she was still alive, was a terrible feeling. The only other person who had her new mobile number, aside from Warren, turned out to be a con artist who, she assumed, had deceived Nicole's mother 2 years earlier for a few $1,000s. Warren was informed about it, and she instructed him to give the police the texts that she had saved. She's not sure, but she doubts he ever did. He informed her that he was aware of the man and that he had gone to his house with a few other people to confront him about messaging me. The man was never detained or even asked any questions. Additionally, When she attempted to bring it to the FBI, they advised her to file a missing persons report, even though it was outside of their purview because the man was in Mexico. In any case, extortion is prohibited in both the United States and Mexico, and she said that this made her feel somewhat agitated. Since her last sighting, Kat and her dog Tootsie haven't been seen. Not a single fragment of evidence has turned up close to the scene of her disappearance. The mysterious disappearances of Marlon Robb. In the vast and remote southwestern region of Utah lies the small city of Paragona, nestled just 20 miles away from the renowned Bryce and Zion National Parks. This picturesque area, situated 40 miles north of the Arizona border, became the backdrop for a perplexing incident that unfolded back on the 5th of June in 1926. Marlon Robb, a 17-year-old sheepherder, vanished under mysterious circumstances, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and bewildered searchers in his wake. The Robb family, known for their local involvement in sheepherding, entrusted Marlon and his brother with the task of tending to a small flock each. According to the family, for some unknown reason, many of their sheep had been disappearing. This would prompt the brothers to make several attempts to figure out who or what was responsible for the sheep disappearances, as there were no signs of attacks and the culprit left behind next to no evidence of their involvement. A few moments before his eventual disappearance, Marlon would inform his brother that he had spotted a large beast somewhere in the distance and set off to eliminate the threat. Little did they know that this would be the last time Marlon was seen alive. An article from June 8, 1926, published in the Billings Gazette, bore the headline, "Hounds to Seek Youth, Likely Taken by Beast." When Marlon failed to return, his concerned brother ventured out to search for him. He stumbled upon Marlon's horse, its saddle stained with blood, and discovered Marlon's hat resting on the saddle horn. The brother continued his search and found a spot where he believed Marlon had sat, with more blood and Marlon's loaded rifle nearby. Despite his relentless efforts, he was unable to locate Marlon and returned back to his family to help seek assistance. Luckily, the Robb family held some local political influence, as Utah Governor George Dern heard of the incident and helped to dispatch a team of special bloodhounds to aid in the search for 17-year-old Marlon Robb. Teams retraced Marlon's brother's steps, discovering Marlon's knife and fragments of his clothing drenched in blood in a different area. There were two distinct sites where it appeared Marlon had rested. Intriguingly, the rifle found that had belonged to Marlon was still loaded and had not been fired. An article from the Salt Lake Tribune, also dated June 8, 1926, shed light on the perplexing behavior of the bloodhounds at the scene. Bloodhounds were put on the scent, but the animals appeared to be bewildered and could not follow the scent. Hundreds of men have joined in the hunt and covered every foot of the ground in Cottonwood Canyon for a radius of 25 miles, with no trace of the missing boy other than his knife and gun and the clots of blood where they were found. For weeks, the search for Marlon persisted, with over 1,000 search and rescue volunteers from all across the state participating in the intensive effort. Bloodhounds from different regions, experienced woodsmen and fellow sheepherders joined the search, yet Marlon remained elusive. Unfortunately, after nearly 3 weeks, the search was ultimately called off, leaving his fate unresolved. It would not be until late October, back in 1933, 7 years after Marlon's disappearance, that an unexpected discovery would shed some light on the case. While deer hunting in an area roughly 6 miles from the 1926 Robb sheepherding camp, a man by the name of Archie Lamoureux stumbled upon fragments of clothing, pieces of shoes, and a partial skeleton. The remains were turned over to the sheriff, who confirmed their identity as Marlon's. However, details regarding the terrain where the body was found and the condition of the remains, as well as the cause of his passing, were never disclosed. This entire event is marred by conflicting information, adding to the mystery surrounding Marlon's disappearance. Some articles mention that Marlon vanished 20 miles northwest of Paragona, while others claim southwest. Cottonwood Canyon, a location of significance. Furthermore, the inconsistencies extend to the spelling of Marlon's name, with some sources using Marlon and others Marion. One striking aspect of the case is the peculiar behavior of the bloodhounds, which inexplicably refused to track Marlon's scent. In numerous instances, unusual canine behavior emerges as a significant factor in disappearances. While some might argue that a predator, such as a cougar or bear, might have been responsible, the circumstances surrounding Marlin's disappearance raised doubts. Marlin managed to reach 2 different resting spots, and his rifle remained loaded. It seems unlikely that a predator would choose to confront a formidable human target when more vulnerable prey, such as sheep, were all throughout the area. Another perplexing element is the apparent absence of tracks. Skilled trackers, especially in wooded areas, typically excel at finding traces left by individuals. Speculation arose in news articles suggesting that sheep or other animals might have obliterated the tracks, but this seems highly unlikely. The inclusion of such a statement indicates the bafflement experienced by the trackers on the scene, and almost insinuates that trackers felt as if Marlin was somehow lifted out of the area. Tragically, Marlin's disappearance had lasting repercussions for his family. A year after his vanishing, his father succumbed to extreme heartbreak and passed away from heart strain, undoubtedly caused by the pain of missing his beloved son. The entire sequence of events surrounding Marlin Robb's disappearance leaves an unexplainable mystery. The vanishing tracks, the confounding behavior of the bloodhounds, and the elusive nature of the beast mentioned in news articles continue to shroud the case in an aura of puzzling fog. While theories may abound, the ultimate truth behind Marlin's fate remains concealed, locked within the untamed wilderness that witnessed his mysterious disappearance. Solar eclipses have long been a source of fascination, wonder, and sometimes fear. As the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun, it creates a surreal twilight, casting an eerie shadow over the landscape and often prompting strange occurrences and reports. Throughout history, and continuing into modern times, numerous strange events and phenomena have been reported during solar eclipses. These range from unusual animal behaviors and unexplained atmospheric effects to mysterious celestial sightings. During the most recent solar eclipse, an unusual and mysterious phenomenon captured the attention of amateur astronomers and the public alike, with many describing that a human-shaped silhouette was seen close to the sun. This strange occurrence has sparked numerous theories and debates. The sighting occurred during the April solar eclipse, which was visible from several locations across the globe. As observers trained their telescopes and cameras on the eclipse, they noticed an anomalous figure near the sun. This silhouette appeared to be distinctly human-like, complete with what seemed to be arms, legs, and a head. The figure was positioned close to the sun's corona, the outermost part of the sun's atmosphere, which is typically visible only during an eclipse. Social media users quickly shared the mysterious photos and offered their interpretations of what they saw. Others were baffled by what they were seeing and even wondered if live broadcasts were glitching. However, eyewitnesses came forward to confirm that they had witnessed the same thing while watching the solar eclipse live. Strangely enough, after the eclipse had been going for less than an hour, onlookers had also reported seeing unknown objects high in the sky. Concerning the strange figure observed, some wondered if the figure was a result of the eclipse itself. A user expressed concern over the sighting, saying that it was ominous and that they could understand how people would have thought it was a god if it had occurred in ancient times. Photographs and videos of the event quickly spread across the internet, capturing the imagination of people worldwide. The clarity of the silhouette and its unmistakable humanoid form led to a flurry of speculation. Amateur astronomers were intrigued and puzzled by the phenomenon, prompting a range of explanations from the plausible to the fantastical. One of the most straightforward scientific explanations suggested that the silhouette could be the result of a technical anomaly or artifact. Cameras and telescopes, especially when pointed at a source as intense as the sun, can produce various artifacts due to lens flares, reflections, or sensor overload. Some posited that the human-shaped silhouette might be a coincidental alignment of these artifacts, creating an illusion that appeared human-like. But this doesn't explain how people were able to see it when observing the sun through their telescopes. Another scientific theory proposed that the silhouette could be an unusual formation of solar plasma, or a prominence. Solar prominences are large, bright features, extending outward from the sun's surface, often forming loop-like structures due to the sun's magnetic field. If a prominence took on a coincidental shape resembling a human figure, it could explain the mysterious silhouette. However, solar prominences typically appear more chaotic and less defined than the figure observed during the eclipse. Beyond scientific explanations, the sighting also reignited interest in various myths and legends. Throughout history, solar eclipses have been seen as significant omens or supernatural events. Some cultures interpreted the human-shaped silhouette as a celestial being or deity watching over Earth. This interpretation drew from ancient myths where gods and supernatural entities were believed to interact with the cosmos, influencing natural events and human affairs. The sighting also sparked a wave of speculative theories in the realm of ufology and extraterrestrial life. Some enthusiasts suggested that the silhouette could be an alien entity or spacecraft, using the cover of the solar eclipse to observe Earth. This theory, while intriguing to many, lacked substantive evidence and was largely based on the silhouette's humanoid appearance and the enduring fascination with extraterrestrial life. Regardless of the explanation, the human-shaped silhouette seen during the solar eclipse highlights the enduring mystery and wonder that celestial events inspire. It serves as a reminder of the limitations of human understanding and the vast, unexplored complexities of the universe. This phenomenon underscores the importance of scientific inquiry and the need for open-mindedness when confronting the unknown. Anna Paulina Luna, who serves in the United States House of Representatives, says she got men in blacked. Luna stated in a recent audio interview with Grant Mitterlehner that she thinks that UFOs are cutting-edge technology that aren't human-made. She said that she got men in blacked, adding that a whistleblower came forward from Eglin Air Force Base and indicating that UAP action was essentially being covered up by the Air Force. Anna Luna said that at first, the Pentagon attempted to call off the first meeting, but they managed to get it back on file. In essence, the base commander attempted to inform them that they lacked authorized clearance. She was at odds with the commander of the base and questioned why an intelligence agency was required to attend a whistleblower meeting. She went on to talk about the disturbing facts she had learned about people that have potentially been taken out by talking about this information. She continued by stating that she believed Grush's description of the aliens as non-human intelligence meant that they weren't necessarily a biological species from another planet in and of itself. Over the years, numerous individuals who have come forward with information about UFOs have reported facing significant personal and professional risks. One of the most well-known dangers faced by UFO whistleblowers is the threat of professional ruin. The legend of the Men in Black dates back to the early days of the UFO phenomenon in the mid-20th century. One of the first documented cases involving the MIB occurred in 1953, when Albert K. Bender, a prominent UFO researcher and founder of the International Flying Saucer Bureau, claimed to have been visited by 3 men in dark suits. According to Bender, these men warned him to cease his investigations into UFOs, conveying a sense of menace and authority. Shortly thereafter, Bender dissolved the International Flying Saucer Bureau and withdrew from the public eye, citing the intimidating encounter as the reason. Bender's story was later recounted in his 1962 book, Flying Saucers and the Three Men, which helped to cement the Men in Black as a staple of UFO lore. Over the years, numerous other individuals have reported encounters with the Men in Black following UFO sightings or investigations. These reports typically describe the Men in Black as having an uncanny appearance, often with pale skin, expressionless faces, and unusual speech patterns. Witnesses frequently note that these men seem to have an otherworldly or robotic demeanor, adding to the sense of unease they evoke. In many accounts, the Men in Black are said to drive black cars, usually classic models, which vanish without a trace after the encounter. One of the most famous cases involves Dr. Herbert Hopkins, a Maine psychiatrist who was researching a UFO incident in 1976. Hopkins claimed that he received a phone call from a man who identified himself as a representative of a UFO research organization. Shortly after the call, the man arrived at Hopkins's home, dressed in a black suit and displaying strange behavior. During their conversation, the Men in Black allegedly advised Hopkins to destroy all his UFO research material, an order he complied with out of fear. Hopkins's account, like many others, remains unverified, but continues to fuel speculation about the nature and purpose of the Men in Black. Theories about the identity and origins of the Men in Black vary widely. Some believe that they are government agents tasked with suppressing information about UFOs and extraterrestrial life. This theory suggests that the MIB are part of a secretive branch of intelligence or defense agencies, operating outside the bounds of official oversight. Their mission, according to this view, is to maintain control over UFO-related information and prevent public panic or the revelation of advanced extraterrestrial technology. Others propose that the men in black are themselves extraterrestrial beings or hybrids sent to cover up their own presence on Earth. This theory posits that the MIB's strange appearance and behavior are indicative of their non-human origins. Proponents argue that these beings are protecting their own interests by silencing witnesses and researchers who come too close to uncovering the truth about UFOs. Regardless of their true nature, the men in black have had a significant impact on popular culture and public perception of UFO phenomena. The influence of the men in black extends beyond entertainment, shaping the discourse around UFO sightings and government secrecy. For many, the men in black symbolizes the lengths to which authorities might go to conceal information and control public knowledge. The persistence of MIB stories underscores the deep-seated suspicion and curiosity that surrounds the UFO phenomenon, reflecting broader themes of mistrust in government and the desire for transparency. Many whistleblowers are former military personnel, scientists, or government officials who risk their careers by speaking out. Their credibility and livelihoods can be jeopardized as they are often discredited and ridiculed. For example, some high-ranking individuals who claim to have worked on reverse engineering alien technology have claimed they faced intense scrutiny and professional discreditation. In addition to professional risks, whistleblowers often encounter severe personal threats. There have been reports of harassment, intimidation, and even threats to their lives. The psychological toll on individuals who speak out about UFOs can also be immense. Whistleblowers frequently face intense public scrutiny and skepticism, leading to social isolation and various struggles. Dr. John E. Mack, a Harvard psychiatrist who studied individuals claiming to have had encounters with extraterrestrials, faced significant backlash from the academic community. Despite his distinguished career and the rigor of his research, Mack was subjected to an investigation by Harvard Medical School, which questioned the legitimacy of his work. Although he was eventually exonerated, the experience was a testament to the professional and psychological pressures faced by those involved in UFO research. The risks faced by UFO whistleblowers also raise significant concerns about freedom of speech and the public's right to know. When individuals are silenced or discredited for discussing UFOs, it undermines the principles of transparency and accountability in government and scientific inquiry. The fear of reprisal can discourage others from coming forward with potentially important information, stifling public debate and hindering the pursuit of truth. Despite these dangers, some whistleblowers have persisted in their efforts to bring information about UFOs to light. Luis Elizondo, a former Pentagon official who headed the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, resigned from his position in 2017 to protest the secrecy and lack of resources allocated to investigating UFOs. Elizondo has since become a prominent advocate for greater transparency, speaking out about the potential threats posed by unidentified aerial phenomena and the need for serious scientific investigation. His revelations have contributed to a shift in the public and governmental attitude towards UFOs, leading to more open discussions and legislative actions aimed at increasing transparency. The dangers faced by UFO whistleblowers highlight the broader challenges associated with investigating and discussing controversial topics. The personal and professional risks, coupled with potential government interference, create a hostile environment for those seeking to uncover the truth. However, these challenges also underscore the importance of protecting freedom of speech and fostering an open and inclusive dialogue about UFOs and other unexplained phenomena. Carl Nell, retired Army colonel, reveals that non-human intelligence exists and has been interacting with humanity. New York City witnessed a surprising revelation that the world's populace will only believe when told by a high-ranking official from one of the most powerful governments in the world. In the summer of 2023, David Grush, a former employee of the National Reconnaissance Office, testified before Congress with 2 Navy pilots, making a number of groundbreaking statements. David Grush's testimony before Congress, given under oath, is what has sustained the intense debate surrounding this intriguing and potentially dangerous topic across a number of venues. The same former official was scheduled to speak on the same platform where, months earlier, lead immunologist and tenured Stanford professor Dr. Gary Nolan, declared he was positive that extraterrestrial intelligence exists and has been communicating with Earth for a considerable amount of time. David Grush was supposed to speak at the renowned SALT conference in New York City, but he had to postpone it due to an apparent scheduling difficulty, just days after it was publicized. The fact that members in the UFO community have been waiting months to hear from Grush demoralized them. However, the organizers of the conference had a surprise weapon that proved to be a fantastic substitute for Grush. Former government employee Colonel Carl Nell of Army Futures Command possesses much more classified material than David Grush. During his speech at the SALT conference, he revealed some shocking information. According to Carl Nell, there have been interactions between humans and a non-human intellect for hundreds of years. The fact that senior officials from states like Israel and Canada are making similar assertions serves as possible proof to support his claims. This phenomenon is not limited to the United States. It is currently occurring on a worldwide scale. If the mainstream media wishes to cover it, this might be the statement that goes viral. Nell declared that there is non-human intelligence. Humanity has interacted with non-human intelligence. This has been an ongoing and not very new contact, and those in the government who are not elected are aware of this. There is not a single doubt. He discussed a wide range of fascinating subjects, many of which are related to the potential effects of revelation on human civilization. This former United States Marine claims he saw a massive UFO being loaded with weapons in the jungle. A veteran Marine claims that he and 5 other military members saw a flying saucer being armed while on duty in Indonesia in 2009. Furthermore, he claims that after the sighting, unnamed US military personnel, who did not have any discernible insignia, came up to them and threatened to shoot. This astounding assertion not only calls into doubt the military's role in any alien contacts, but it also highlights, amidst a flurry of startling disclosures, an incredible story begins when an Air Force whistleblower from the government's UFO section comes to light. This guy has joined a growing group of intelligence officers who claim that the US not only has recovered non-human aircraft, but is actively involved in the complex task of disassembling and reassembling these downed or landing vehicles. A 20-year-old rifleman named Michael Herrera was sent on a humanitarian mission by the Navy to help in the wake of the devastating 2009 Sumatra earthquake and tsunami that devastated most of the area. In a private interview with news outlets, the man claims that in October of that year, while on a mission to safeguard a humanitarian supply airdrop near Padang, he and his 6-person team came across an airborne octagonal vehicle that they thought was being used by secret American military units. The observation of this unidentifiable object generated curiosity and conjecture about the existence and operations of unknown US forces in the area. Herrera, who had been silent on UFO disclosures for more than 14 years, found courage in the freshly enacted whistleblower protections. In a historic move in April, he swore under oath to testify before 2 key organizations, a well-known Senate committee and the government's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, a specialized UFO study organization. During his presentation of his flawless 4-year service record, he also related stories of the interaction with a supposed fellow observer who chose not to speak because he believed it would endanger his life and the safety of his family. The person stressed that sharing information was not thought to be worth risking his personal safety or endangering his family. By comparing his account with military sources, news outlets were able to verify minor facts. But even at 33 years old, Herrera doesn't have any hard copies of records or images that are directly related to the incident at hand. After graduating from high school, the Denver native decided to join the Marines right away. After serving in the service for less than 2 years, he was ordered to join the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit and be stationed in the Philippines. He was given the vital task of helping individuals afflicted by the natural disaster after a severe storm, and he was instrumental in making it happen. The 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines Echo Platoon, was ordered to reroute their mission to provide security for helicopter aid deliveries in the vicinity of Padang City, which was experiencing difficulties due to unrest caused by local insurgents on September 30th, 2009, during the powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake that occurred in Sumatra. He was flown in by a CH-53 helicopter to a location in the northeastern part of the city on or around October 8th, along with 5 Marines. Then, according to Herrera, they began a strenuous 900-foot walk up a ridge to take up their positions strategically ahead of the impending supply delivery. To ensure the mission's success, this particular operation required careful planning and cooperation. He was looking across the verdant terrain when he noticed something strange tucked away behind the thick jungle brush over the hill's crest. The thing was unlike anything he owned. The witness reported witnessing a dynamic entity that rotated and moved. The item saw a change in color, going from a light matte gray to a dark matte black. After giving it some thought, he said that the item was really noticeable and stood out from the surrounding area. This observation points to a striking visual aberration that caught the observer's attention. Strangely enough, he added, they had not been given radios, so they had to carefully make their way down the hill in unison to assess the situation rather than reporting it right away. In the meantime, Herrera used his Panasonic camera to take pictures and make recordings of the events as they happened. This unorthodox method emphasizes how they collaborate and rely more on visual observation than on electronic devices for communication. Herrera compared the object's size to a football pitch and called it enormous. The thing was rotating in a clockwise direction and showed off an amazing variety of color shifts. Its movement was accompanied by a distinct hum that was akin to the resonance of a guitar amplifier or the sound made by a transformer. This mysterious vessel had the shape of an octagon with a characteristic black pyramid construction perched upon its tip. The vessel turned gracefully in a precise orbit, alternating between various colors, and there was a clear sound of vibration. It had a very strange design, with what looked like scales covering every part of the vessel. Interestingly, it departed from the idea of a polished surface, showing off seams and ragged edges that suggested human handiwork. Its entire appearance was made even more strange by the odd panels that resembled vantablack and found their way around the vertical perimeters. Herrera claimed that when his 5 buddies and he approached the unknown aircraft, 8 people dressed entirely in black camouflage clothing launched an unexpected attack on them. These attackers wore bulletproof jackets and carried M4 weapons fitted with high-tech night vision devices that are usually only found in elite US military troops. He said that they were aiming their rifles at us during the incident. Additionally, he mentioned how clearly they could hear their guns' safety levers being pulled. These 2 persons publicly conveyed their confusion and requested clarification, speaking in an aggressive tone and with unique American accents. The men continued to threaten, and eventually the troops were stripped of their weapons, their ammunition thrown away, and their military identity examined closely. Herrera described seeing people physically moving heavy gun boxes and other containers from specially outfitted Ford trucks onto a level platform under the plane. As the suspense grew, this unnerving sequence of events played out, giving a clear image of the intense atmosphere that pervaded the situation. The lowest portion of the platform rose around 10 feet above the ground, following the last 2 trucks' completion of unloading and their departure. Then the ship lowered itself to line up with the raised platform, and, as the speaker put it, they merged into one seamless one. An important point in the operational sequence is represented by this complex procedure of the platform raising and the craft lowering to join. Lights were attached to the corners of the vessel, and they changed color smoothly from blue to red to yellow to green. These lights provided a functional as well as aesthetic element. The thing lifted off the ground and streaked just beyond the edge of the trees, before swerving sharply to the left, towards the ocean, at an estimated 4,000 miles per hour. They were trying to make sense of what was happening, but the situation was too unbelievable. Herrera described how the 8 unmarked soldiers returned their unloaded guns and walked them back over the hill, all the while highlighting the potential for violence. After they made it to the top of the hill, the people in question gave them clear instructions to leave the area right away and never look back. The 6 Marines returned quickly to the planned assistance drop spot, only to be met with a sharp reprimand by their gunnery sergeant for returning too soon. Herrera recalled that none of them spoke up or revealed the specifics of what had happened despite the unpleasant occurrence. The veteran soldier described his tremendous terror in a thorough and in-depth account, saying that he was terrified. After arriving back at the USS Denver, Herrera's group was briefed by a rear admiral whom he did not recognize. Herrera was taken aback by the admiral's unusual attendance at this session and began to wonder what the admiral's engagement meant. Interestingly, none of them brought up the topic of the saucer or the presence of unmarked troops during the debriefing. This was a notable omission from their talks. The Marine recalled that after a short while, the crew discovered that they were docked in Subic Bay, Philippines. The memory card and battery of his camera had been stolen from his locked locker, which he found after a night of drinking and partying with his fellow crew members. Additionally, it was alleged that the phones of his 5 companions had gone missing. In early December 2009, after arriving back at Camp Hansen in Okinawa, Japan, he was told to go to the office. When he got there, he saw an Air Force lieutenant colonel in full dress who was noticeably missing his name tag. This incident was important because it set off a sequence of events that he would experience while at the camp. He was told that you are prohibited from discussing the events with anyone, not your superiors, not even a general. Violation of this directive will result in severe consequences, possibly leading to imprisonment or even their demise. When he left the Navy in October 2011, his discharge document showed that he had served 4 years of active duty. He was also adorned with excellent medals that recognized his accomplishments in a number of areas, such as National Defense Service. The former Marine was motivated to come forward and relate his story by new rules that were enacted in December with the intention of protecting UFO whistleblowers. In the vast expanse of the Martian landscape, where the red sands stretch as far as the eye can see, the Mars rover has been tirelessly exploring, uncovering secrets hidden beneath the surface of the mysterious planet. Among the countless images transmitted back to Earth, one photograph in particular has captured the imagination of the world, a striking image that appears to show the unmistakable silhouette of a skeletal figure exposed on the barren surface of Mars. The photograph, taken by the Mars rover's high-resolution camera, reveals a scene both eerie and intriguing, a stark contrast to the desolate landscape that surrounds it. Against the backdrop of the Martian horizon, the skeletal figure stands out in stark relief, its elongated limbs and skull-like features etched against the dusty red soil. Speculation about the origins of the mysterious skeleton has run rampant since the image was first released to the public. Some have suggested that it could be the remains of an ancient Martian civilization, long extinct and forgotten beneath the sands of time. Others have proposed more outlandish theories, positing that it may be evidence of extraterrestrial life or even the remnants of a long-lost astronaut stranded on the surface of Mars. But skeptics caution against jumping to conclusions, pointing out the tendency of the human brain to perceive familiar shapes and patterns in random stimuli. They argue that the skeleton-like figure may be nothing more than a trick of light and shadow, a natural formation sculpted by the harsh Martian winds over millions of years. Despite the skepticism, the photograph has reignited debate about the possibility of life on Mars and the tantalizing prospect of uncovering evidence of ancient civilizations on the red planet. For centuries, humans have looked to the stars with a sense of wonder and curiosity, searching for signs of life beyond our own planet. And while previous missions to Mars have yielded valuable data about the planet's geology and atmosphere, the question of whether life exists, or once existed, on Mars remains unanswered. The discovery of the skeleton-like figure is just the latest in a series of tantalizing clues that have fueled speculation about the possibility of life on Mars. In recent years, scientists have uncovered evidence of liquid water beneath the Martian surface, a key ingredient for life as we know it. They have also identified organic molecules in Martian rocks, suggesting that the planet may have once been capable of supporting microbial life. But the search for definitive proof of life on Mars continues, with future missions to the red planet poised to shed new light on the mysteries of our celestial neighbor. In the meantime, the photograph of the skeleton-like figure serves as a reminder of the boundless potential for discovery that awaits us in the uncharted depths of space. As scientists analyze the photograph and debate its significance, the public is left to ponder the implications of what may lie beyond the frame. In the vast expanse of the Martian landscape, NASA's Opportunity rover made a discovery that captured the imagination of scientists and space enthusiasts alike, a mysterious dome structure hidden among the rugged terrain of the red planet. This mysterious find, revealed through images transmitted back to Earth, sparked intrigue and speculation about its origins and purpose, fueling debates about the possibility of ancient civilizations on Mars. The discovery of the dome structure by NASA's Opportunity rover was a serendipitous moment in the ongoing exploration of Mars. As the rover traversed the Martian surface, its panoramic camera captured a series of images that revealed the presence of a distinctively shaped structure nestled amidst the rocky landscape. The dome structure, with its smooth, curved surface and symmetrical design, stood out against the backdrop of the Martian terrain. Its sheer size and unusual appearance immediately caught the attention of scientists and researchers at NASA, who quickly began analyzing the images to better understand the nature of this strange formation. Speculation about the dome structure abounded, with some suggesting that it could be a natural geological feature formed through processes such as erosion or volcanic activity. However, others were quick to point out the structure's striking resemblance to architectural designs found on Earth, leading to conjecture about its artificial origin. One prevailing theory proposed by amateur researchers and enthusiasts alike was that the dome structure could be the remnant of an ancient Martian civilization, a testament to the possibility that intelligent life may have once thrived on the red planet. Proponents of this theory pointed to the dome's intricate design and apparent construction as evidence of advanced technological capabilities beyond anything previously imagined. As images of the dome structure circulated among scientific communities and the public, speculation about its purpose and significance grew. Some hypothesized that it could have served as a shelter or habitat for Martian inhabitants, while others suggested that it may have held religious or ceremonial significance for the ancient civilization that built it. The discovery of the dome structure on Mars reignited long-standing debates about the possibility of life beyond Earth and the potential for ancient civilizations to exist in the far reaches of the universe. For many, it represented a tantalizing glimpse into the mysteries of our cosmic neighbors and the untold stories hidden within the Martian landscape. However, as with any scientific discovery, skepticism and caution tempered the initial excitement surrounding the dome structure. Some researchers cautioned against jumping to conclusions based on limited information, emphasizing the need for further investigation and analysis to determine the true nature of the formation. In the years since its discovery, the dome structure on Mars has remained a subject of fascination and speculation, inspiring ongoing research and exploration efforts to uncover its secrets. NASA's continued missions to the Red Planet, including the Perseverance rover and future manned missions, hold the promise of shedding new light on this mysterious formation and the broader question of life on Mars. Ultimately, the discovery of the dome structure on Mars serves as a reminder of the boundless possibilities of space exploration and the enduring quest to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos. Whether it represents evidence of ancient civilizations or simply a natural geological formation, its presence ignites our imagination and fuels our curiosity about the universe beyond our own planet. First and foremost, the fascination with mysterious Mars artifacts stems from the quest for knowledge and understanding. As we explore the Martian landscape through the lens of advanced technology, such as orbiters, landers, and rovers, we inevitably encounter anomalies that defy easy explanation. These out-of-place artifacts, ranging from unusual rock formations to seemingly engineered structures, challenge our understanding of Mars's geological and atmospheric processes. Each discovery prompts further investigation and analysis, driving scientific inquiry and pushing the boundaries of our knowledge. Moreover, the allure of mysterious Mars artifacts lies in their potential to unravel the planet's strange history. Mars, once believed to be a cold and lifeless world, has revealed evidence of a more dynamic and complex past. From ancient riverbeds and lake basins to mineral deposits suggestive of past water activity, Mars bears the scars of a planet shaped by geological forces and perhaps the presence of liquid water, an essential ingredient for life as we know it. In this context, out-of-place artifacts offer a tantalizing glimpse into Mars's past inhabitants, whether microbial or intelligent. Speculations abound regarding the origins and purposes of these artifacts, with some suggesting they could be remnants of ancient civilizations that once flourished on the Martian surface. The prospect of uncovering evidence of extraterrestrial life, even in microbial form, fuels our imagination and ignites our curiosity about the possibility of life beyond Earth. Furthermore, the study of mysterious Mars artifacts holds implications for future exploration and colonization efforts. As humanity looks to the stars for potential off-world habitats and resources, understanding Mars' geology, climate, and potential hazards becomes paramount. By studying out-of-place artifacts, scientists can glean valuable insights into the planet's past habitability and assess its suitability for human settlement. From identifying potential landing sites to mapping underground resources, these artifacts serve as signposts in humanity's ongoing journey to the Red Planet. Beyond their scientific significance, mysterious Mars artifacts also capture the public's imagination and inspire awe and wonder. Images of unusual rock formations, geometric patterns, and anomalous structures circulating online and in popular media spark debate and speculation among enthusiasts and skeptics alike. They become the subject of theories, amateur investigations, and science fiction narratives, enriching our cultural landscape and fueling our collective fascination with the cosmos. However, it's essential to approach mysterious Mars artifacts with a healthy dose of skepticism and critical thinking. Not every anomaly captured in satellite images or rover photographs is evidence of ancient civilizations or extraterrestrial activity. Many can be explained by natural geological processes, such as erosion, wind, and volcanic activity, or artifacts of image processing and data compression. So, what do you make of this mysterious photograph? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.